Welcome traders to this video on the updated capabilities of the ZoneTraderPro Cumulative Delta Indicator and the Delta Strength Indicator. The updated capabilities in this indicator are tremendous because what we are dealing with is the ability for tape reconstruction filtering. On the ZoneTraderPro website for the ZTP Cumulative Delta Indicator, I have gone and explained the tape reconstruction filtering and what it is. Basically, tape reconstruction filtering is the use of the order size instead of the fill size. In this picture, we see a time and sales window where a large number of contracts were traded all at the same time, and there wasn't a trade that shows larger than 22 contracts. However, with tape reconstruction filtering, what is actually happening at this is not dozens and dozens of trades, but is actually one trade right here in which 334 contracts were bought on this bar. And as you can see from this picture down here where we see an even number of 100, that is obviously working to our advantage. On this chart here, what I have is I have a 150 tick chart, and the settings I have for the indicators are the following. I want 3 cumulative delta indicators on here, and this is again a new feature and why this is a very interesting and new and unique tool. So the first parameter that I'm going to check is to reconstruct the tape, and then the second feature that is unique is that we have a minimum and a maximum. So I have gone and I've set the minimum to 1 and the maximum to 7, and then I've set both the positive and the negative delta color to red, and the red color is going to signify the smaller traders. The next thing I've done is I have again set the tape reconstruction to true, and I have a minimum filter of 25 to a maximum filter of 149, and I've set this to a green color and made it a slightly thicker line. The third thing I've done is I've put a third cumulative delta on here, reconstructing the tape with a minimum filter of 150 and a maximum of 2000. I've changed the color to both black. So what we see here is the line in black here as the traders trading 150 or more. The line in red would be the regular retail traders, and the line in green, which would be the large traders between 25 and 150 lots. Okay, now to understand why this is important, what I've done is I've taken a volumetric chart, and on the volumetric chart you're able to place the order flow cumulative delta indicator from NinjaTrader along with my ZTP cumulative delta indicator. I have the cumulative delta from Ninja set to 150, and I have mine set to reconstruct the tape for 150 or more. And what we're going to look at here is something that's very interesting. On the start of the day, what we see is basically we have a triple top here, and at the beginning of the triple top we see that the traders trading 150 contracts or more were actually sellers that entire time, which is very interesting. So I want to look at that time from 9:41 to 9:47 on the volumetric chart. So here's what that looks like on a volumetric chart. The only thing different I've done is I've changed this to a 500 tick volume chart so that it can all be seen on one chart. And on this top pane up here, we have the Ninja cumulative delta, which picked up one trade before any of this started at 9:40, and then down in red we see the ZoneTraderPro cumulative delta with tape reconstruction filtering, showing you what was actually going on. And when you see the difference between the two, it is just an amazing difference that is significant information that you're not going to get with either the Ninja indicator or any other standard cumulative delta indicator. One of the other things we can do with the cumulative delta indicator is we are not restricted to have it just on a tick chart or the volumetric chart. However, on this volumetric chart, a 5-range volumetric chart is kind of helpful because you can see how over time what the cumulative delta looks like. When we look at the series of trades that happened, what we see is this. As the market hit its high for the day over here at 941, we're trading in a strong trend, and if we take a trade from this area, that is to be discouraged because it is extremely high risk. However, we traded into a pattern after that, which I call the broken reversal. And that is, if we have a strong trend, we should see a response from the minor support, which is that area right here. Instead, we traded all the way down to intermediate support, giving us a standard trend trade. But what I have found is that this is a pattern that when it trades back into the intermediate zone is, on a percentage basis, a highly profitable pattern. The problem is that they don't occur very often, and one of them occurred this morning right here. And this trade itself was good for approximately 4 points. We then traded back up and we traded into this counter trend trade, which is again the test of the high. We can see the sell-off, which was about 22 points from top to bottom, and the bottom being called here, to at least temporarily, with a ZoneTraderPro tick divergence pattern to the tick. We see that here we had a trend trade again exactly to the tick and a strong trend trade here. Again, we would not be looking to be a trader from this area here, this area down here. Now let's take a look at what the 5-range order flow chart said. And this is important because you may be looking at this chart and you may be saying, you know, I see that we have both buy and sell order flow, and that is correct. Basically what we are waiting for is a order flow pattern to enter, and only when that occurs. And as you can see, we do have the filtered delta strength there, and when the market reached its high, we see that we did have a very large seller come in and give us this negative 479 number. Each time it came back up, we again see the selling. The point I was trying to make with the opposing signals is this. This is the area where we're in a strong trend, and you do see that we have a large number of sellers coming to meet a large number of buyers. And again, this is the reason why we want to avoid that type of trade. Here, where we have the negative 345 and the trap buyer signal, that is the area where we had the broken reversal signal. But the best signal of all is going to be over here, where we again had the counter trend trade at the test of the high, and we develop a POC extension with an exhaustion signal, the two strongest signals that I have in that toolbox. This is the area here where the strong trend signal was being given, and we can see that we have, after the buyer here got out of the way, we had consistent selling all the way down and a exhaustion and POC extension sell signals here. And that took us down into the first area that we should probably be covering at down here. We again see large contract buyers coming in at the first low here. However, when we get up to the trend trade, this is probably the easiest trade of the day because we have a delta strength, a filtered delta strength value of a negative 331. We have a point of control absorption trade, trap buyers, a ZTP order flow, and a stopping ratio. And that again, that took us down another 9 or 10 points until we see the buyers coming in down here, again exactly at the ZoneTraderPro area, the blue counter trend zone, where we would be looking to cover a trade. And you were given multiple chances to exit that trade there after you saw the first big buyer come in with a 261 lot buy. And again, what we're seeing right here is very late sellers coming in trying to continue to push it down, and buyers, probably the shorts, looking to cover what they had previously shorted, being the buyers. What we see is we do see that short covering, and that took us up into this counter trend trade, which is about the same price that the previous trend trade had gone off at. And at this counter trend trade right here, we see some very good order flow. We see that we had a negative 548 lot come in here, and we had a ZTP order flow sell signal being given. If you weren't able to get short at that point, we then had multiple order flow signals here of the POC extension absorption and the ZTP order flow. And as you can see, that trade took us down another 10 points all in one strong move. And again, like I said, the point is we're not looking to take every order flow signal that we see on this chart. We're only looking to take order flow signals at the points that make sense when we have large lot buyers or sellers coming in, and when we have a ZoneTraderPro order flow pattern to go along with it. When we put together the pricing patterns from this chart with the order flow and the delta strength from this chart, that is what gives us a trading plan that we can be able to use every day, regardless of what the market is throwing at us. And before I go, I also wanted to look at the settings for the delta strength indicator that I'm using. So one of the settings that I've done is I have turned off the delta change indicator. I am again checking the box for reconstructing the tape and putting a filter value of 50 or more contracts in there. For the bar volume, I choose to use the values of 40 for a low percentage, a high percentage of 140, and an extreme percentage of 175. I hope you've enjoyed this video on the updates to the ZoneTraderPro Delta Strength Indicator and the Cumulative Volume Indicator. And if you should have any questions, be sure to give me a call. Thank you for watching and have a good day.